This Guy's Garage. Like and subscribe.
And I'm delighted to welcome you is Amira Al-Gawabi, Canada's Special Representative on Combating Islamophobia. I now invite Ms. Al-Gawabi to make a presentation.
Assalamu alaikum, hello and bonsoir, honorable senators, officials present in the room, and community members joining us virtually. Ramadan Kareem to those who are observing. Je suis heureuse de me joindre.
I'm pleased to be joining today from unceded Anishinaabe Algonquin territory. It is my honour to serve as Canada's first special representative on combating Islamophobia. I have been on the job for about 25 working days so far, beginning to build capacity to deliver on my mandate, which includes what follows, but is not limited to the following, namely, providing guidance and advice to ministers to inform and improve efforts to track and monitor incidences of anti-Muslim hatred and violence across Canada. Secondly, supporting efforts to address systemic racism and Islamophobia through public education and awareness. Thirdly, proactively engaging with diverse stakeholders, including all of the varied Muslim communities around the country and other stakeholders to advance community-informed solutions, policies and actions. And fourthly, offering guidance to responsible ministers to contribute to training in support of national security agencies. I am just beginning to embark on the engagement and analysis that will be required to determine the priorities of this office over the short, medium and long term. I am very mindful that in fulfilling the objectives of this role, I will be both building upon and drawing from the work that has come before, including the 2018 report of the Standing Committee on Canadian Heritage, as well as various other government inquiries and academic and civil society studies and research. And there's current work underway, including the report that this committee will publish upon the conclusion of these hearings.
The key strength of this office lies in both my proximity to the federal government and my proximity to communities experiencing Islamophobia. This means that I will be constantly engaging with communities, listening to their concerns in order to effectively serve as a champion, advisor, expert, and representative to the Canadian government as outlined in my mandate. And before I go further, I would like to share the definition of Islamophobia that the federal government has adopted through Canada's anti-racism strategy for 2019 to 2022. As the definition states, Islamophobia includes racism, stereotypes, prejudice, fear or acts of hostility directed towards individual Muslims or followers of Islam in general. In addition to individual acts of intolerance and racial profiling, Islamophobia can lead to viewing and treating Muslims as a greater security threat on an institutional, systemic, and societal level. In order to understand how Islamophobia manifests in society, there are various quantitative and qualitative markers that can provide some level of understanding about the problem we face. Among the quantitative markers, Statistics Canada's most recent data for 2021, as you all have seen, showed hate crimes targeting Muslims rose 71% over the previous year. And as for qualitative data, these include the stories that we hear from the ground, from Muslims in Canada, be it Canadians, newcomers, permanent residents, and refugees. For instance, as part of my first official visit, I was in London, Ontario, earlier this month to speak with the city's diverse Muslim communities who have been grappling with the painful aftermath of the deadly 2021 Islamophobic attack that took the life of 4 members of the Afzal family. The after effects continue to reverberate, underscoring the reality that hate crimes are message crimes that shake the sense of well-being of the targeted community, eroding our social fabric and our democratic values. Whether it's the Muslim neighbor of the late Afzal family who told me she rarely goes out into her backyard now because it still hurts her and frightens her to see the garden they used to tend so lovingly, or the hijab-wearing woman whose young son pushes her away from the road whenever he sees a speeding car, fearing it may hit her. Highlighting the gendered forms of Islamophobia, I heard from several young girls whose headscarves were ripped from their heads by classmates. I also heard from students who still experience class lessons that embed stereotypes and promote misinformation about Islam and Muslims. Yet I will end my remarks by spotlighting the resilience and hope I witnessed. From the City of London's first-of-its-kind action plan to combat and disrupt Islamophobia, to a group of Syrian-Canadian teen girls working on a collective artistic project to resist Islamophobia. Let me conclude my remarks with a short excerpt of a poem they wrote together. The World We Deserve. We deserve a world in which we can walk freely on the streets with pride and dignity. We deserve a world in which we are safe and loved. A world in which we belong. Je vous remercie et je répondrai.
Thank you, and I welcome your questions.